Yo, what to do, YouTube? It's your boy ColtsTalk. We're back with another video, and we are back, officially back. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate all the continuous support. Like, comment, and subscribe as well. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that button. Also hit the noti buttons if you haven't as well to be notified when I drop a vid. I always post content on here, even if it's not an official video. It could be a YouTube short or a snippet like that, or I may go live. So go ahead and turn on that noti bell to know when I'm dropping some content and stay active. Let's go ahead and hop into it talking about Anthony Richardson. Debuted in the preseason for the Indianapolis Colts. He debuted against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. You guys know how it is down there. And, you know, to say the least, I think he did pretty decent. He did do great. He did do terrible. I think for a guy that only played 14 snaps as a football player, 14 games, I would say, I think he did pretty decent. You know, it started off a little rusty with the interception. It wasn't all the way his fault. I mean, he could have did better making the read, but, you know, the wide receiver and, you know, Anthony Richardson, it was Isaiah McKenzie and Richardson didn't really click there on that play and wound up being an interception. It is what it is. But the thing that we all notice is how he bounced back from the interception. I always have this saying when I say, you know, one leads to many. But for Anthony Richardson, he didn't waver. You know, he didn't waver. He didn't somber. He didn't beat himself up about it. He knew what happened and he moved on. And that's one thing you want to see from a rookie quarterback. And I'm happy. He bounced back and threw some beauties. He threw some beauties, man. The ball was just sailing in the air. He ran the ball a few times. I think he ran the ball like twice. But he threw some good passes. But the problem was that the receivers wasn't catching it. The receivers was not catching the football. McKenzie dropped. Pittman dropped a few. Alec Pierce, he dropped a beauty that could have been a touchdown and probably could have won us the game. You know, Lord knows how that game would have ended if we would have made some field goals or if he would have caught that pass. But, you know, but to say the least, I think Anthony Richardson had himself a pretty good showing of what you could potentially see with a full roster. Like I said, this is a preseason, so we can't go off rails of saying, oh, he's a bust, he's trash, he's not going to pan out. That's just not the case. We know how good Anthony Richardson is or how good he can be. But I do think he had a pretty decent outing and showing potential of what he can do when the roster is full. The offensive line definitely had his woes as usual. We didn't have Braden Smith there, so the right side of the field was pretty wonky. The left side stood up pretty good. I did like Bernard Raman's game and how he played. But you know, moving forward, I do think the wide receivers had a pretty decent outing. Besides the drops, I think they had a pretty good game. Josh Downs was just being a dog, man. It's amazing how he can play football, how he can get open in separation and just catch the football, automatic hands, man. It's pretty dope to see. It really is. So, other than that, I think the receiver room did pretty good. The running back room did pretty well as well. I love Jake Funk's game. I loved it. I talked about him all the time. Seeing him down there at training camp, I think I still go off the rails and saying I think he's the fastest running back in the room. But besides him, Evan Hall can do both. And Jake Funk and Evan Hall is definitely a running back you would want in your running back room. Even with the controversy going on with Taylor's situation and everything, I think those two guys are definitely a plug and play. They can definitely receive and run the ball, which is pretty dope to have in your locker room with the Anthony Richardson. And it showed in that Buffalo game how scared or how unaware defenses are going to be with Richardson out there on that field. They don't know what he might do next. And that's something you want as an advantage for the Colts. So that's something to look forward to moving forward. But I did like the run game, Deion Jackson, Evan Hall, Jake Funk. I love all those guys in the run game. They definitely had some good spurts. They really did. They had some good spurts. But this game was pretty good. It was pretty close moving forward. Our defense played lights out. Our defense played lights out. Shout out to Darius Rush. That pick six was amazing. Jalen Jones was out there. Julius Brents. The linebacker group, could have been better. EJ Speed was out there. Zaire was out there. The linebacker group could have been better. But other than that, shout out to to Stewart. I'm getting a brain fart, but shout out to Stewart, man. The linebacker, Stewart, he's usually on special teams, but he had a really good game. He had like 12 tackles, man. He was just flying all over the field. Shout out to Shaquille Leonard for being out there. You know, he's been gone from the game for a little bit due to injury, but to see him out there on the field again, just to be happy I think it's Grant Stewart. Okay, it came back to me. But sorry, I do that. Shaquille Leonard, seeing him back out there on the field was dope. The Hamlin was out there for Buffalo. But Buffalo, they came out to play. Man, Matt Barkley looked like he was in college. He looked like he was in college. I was like, what's going on here? Hello? Nobody told me. I didn't even know he was still playing. But Matt Barkley was out there putting that thing on the money in the second half. I was just like, ooh, all right. But, other than that, Anthony Richardson, he had himself a pretty good debut, in my opinion. Gardner Minshew and Sam Ellinger came in as well. The GOAT Ellinger, the star of the preseason, usually last year, he was the star. He came in there, but Gardner Minshew had some pretty good reps. They both did. Ellinger being mobile or whatever, he did pretty good. Mike Strawn, another preseason phenomenon. He's pretty dope. He had a good jump ball for 18 yards, threw the ball up and went out there and mossed the defender, out there doing what he does best. But I think, like I said, Anthony Richardson's debut, I think it was pretty good to watch. I don't think he did anything, that was like, oh, what's going on, or he's not aware. Like I said, he's good against pressure, so that wasn't the case at all. I just think it came down to, the receivers just catching the football on certain plays. And I think if we would have caught a few passes, and special teams would have not choked on these field goals, on certain field goals, we would have had a game won. But we're not here for wins. We're here to watch progressions, developments, and see where everyone is mentally and ability-wise going into the season. So I don't care about the W. I'm looking for Anthony Richardson's progressions and his reads and where he is running the football into the Shane Steichen offense. That's all I'm here for. It is what it is. At the end of the day, take it with a grain of salt. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Anthony Richardson's debut. Who else impressed you? All these things in the comment section. This is Marcus. And until next time, you've been Culture Shock.